Welcome back to the Six Shots Anime Podcast, where wait, I already did the Nostalgia Critic joke. I can't do that one again. Welcome back to Six Shots, where we believe in insect rights. If you don't, I guess you're a horrible monster. I'm Dethhollow. With me here is Phustus.
That's me.
Covering Beastars Season 2, Episode 6 to Episode 12, maybe?
7 to 12 because we did 6.
Wait,
we
right,
ended up on
that's...
6 last time.
Crap, that's how numbers work, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's alright. We did up to 6 last time.
I know it's like my off-stream persona is basically just the same as me just normally and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like every time I'm like, alright, we should go live, I should say what we're actually doing, and I just go into like radio voice mode.
I mean, I could have just been like, welcome to the greatest anime podcast ever, where we are going to tell you about Beastars. Today, episode 7 to 12, we are going to...
Let's not get ahead of ourselves and Sarah the Greatest. I feel like the trash taste is gonna be pretty good.
No, they're trash.
Yeah, but they have like five
they've
people
even
on
got
the
trash
panel.
in their name. They've even got trash in their name.
Wait, but then why was Mori on there? Is Mori trash?
Yes.
New beef started. Let's go. The lore continues.
I'm gonna start beef with all of Hololive.
We're gonna start beef with all of them. It'll be hilarious. We'll find something to not like about every single one of them as a joke, and then we'll just be like, I'll just like find like Gura on Twitter or something, and they'll happen to respond to one comment, and I'll just be like, wait, do I keep up kayfabe or like has this work? I didn't really think this through.
Something. I got one. Okay. Crony. I hate Crony because she's Canadian.
Wait, but you're Canadian?
I know.
If anything, I think that'd make me like preferential to Crony.
I'm just kidding. I like Crony just because she's Canadian.
Yeah. I hate Crony because she won't give me a ride to your house.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I forget. Has episode 7 start? I didn't take notes, and this was like 2 weeks ago.
I got 6, so we had to skip a week, but we're back now, and we're on episode 7, which I called the culprit because I believe we find out who the culprit is.
Isn't this like because after episode 6 we figure out like who did it, and it's like, oh, okay, right, okay, I know exactly where we are right now.
This is first off, it opens up with that anteater bro.
Yeah, this is the one where the anteater gets his like arm ripped off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I hate carnivores. I hate all of you. I'm just sitting there like, but you eat ants, aren't you a carnivore? Well, maybe insects don't count, and we learned that insects definitely count.
Yeah. And then I also wrote at this point that the bear guy is just still being put up in the front, like all of a sudden, like out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
This character that was a background character has a point all of a sudden, and I'm like, why? Why is this character here? And then it's only because when Legoshi and I guess the bear's name is Riz, by the way. I kept calling him Grizzly Bear.
Riz.
I kept calling him Grizzly Bear. He's the one that killed Tim.
So I feel like this bugs me for one specific reason, and it's like, okay, what's the one clue Legoshi has, right?
He made out with him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the one thing I know is I know the feel of their mouth and the taste of their saliva.
Oh yeah, and he goes around and drinks everybody's water bottles.
Yeah, maybe if I drink his water bottle, I can like figure it out. And it's like, I think all we needed is just one line where Legoshi describes their spit as like sweet and be like, there's your hint, there's your clue.
It's like, weird, tastes like honey.
Yeah,
right?
not even like kind, just like, oh, it's weirdly sweet, huh? And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, maybe because bear and buried honey, and maybe they'd have like another animal that's like, sugary food as like a misdirect,
Yeah, and then it looks like the bear's gonna like fight Lugosi there for a second.
Yeah, because they take I forget what his name is, the anteater guy. They take him to
Yeah, they
the
take him to the nurse
yeah,
or the doctor,
like
whatever.
freaking Legoshi and Riz, because it's like, oh well, we probably
Riz takes
should.
his arm.
Yeah, it's like we should probably go with like more than one person, or this is gonna look sus as crap.
Yeah, so they get the two toughest looking carnivores to carry the anteater and the arm.
Yeah, so
And
they like
then
vouch for each other.
they just walk out of the nurse's office and Lugosi's like, "It was you, by the way." And he's like, "Nani?"
What do you mean it was me? Hey, stop joking around. Legoshi's like, no, I know. And he's like, okay, well, I guess you caught me, so what am I gonna do with you now?
Yeah, and then he puts his hands on the like roof and like scratches the roof apart.
That's such a good shot.
And
Because
I
you
was like,
don't
"Oh,
even
sick."
Yeah, you don't even think about it. It's like, oh, he just raises his arm slightly, just like scratches up the roof, and it's like, oh, this guy's like big, big. Oh
He's
shit!
a big bear. And it was really dope. And I was like, "Oh shit, are they gonna fight like right here?" But no, fake Lewis shows up again.
Friggin' Pina. Pina just
I get
showing up and making everything way more complicated than they need to be.
I was like, why is he here? What is he doing? What is the point of this character? But he shows up and he's like, wow, let's do a thing. And
He's
then I guess
like,
they,
oh, but, I guess you'll have to kill both of us now. And if I go missing, then, I guess people are gonna figure it out. And Riz is just sitting there like, damn it, he got me. And it's like, I can't even sleep. I'm just so, they're gonna turn me in any day now. And Riz is just like, casually like, wait a second, yeah, if he says anything, I'll just like murder him so he can't do anything either. And he's like, oh yeah, this is actually a zero-sum game. I'm actually completely fine.
um,
There's like, oh, but we'll tell. And he's like, all right, do you think the police are gonna get here before I can just like finish you off? And that's when Pia has this big moment where he's on stage and he's like, well, listen, I'm
that's
not
a little
afraid of
later.
death, and and Riz is like, okay, well, guess that sells that then.
Yeah, that happens a little later in the
Oh yeah, I'm very
season.
off script right now.
But um, I think it was. Let me check. Secret side of the sword. Oh yeah, there's also a bit of a cutaway that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of funny because there's a lot of carnivores and herbivores that seem to like each other. Like there's L's that seems to
Yeah.
like Bill, and Bill likes L's. So I
Yeah,
noticed that.
this just sort of happens. And it's like, oh, hi, guess this was a thing all along. And it's like, yeah, I can't say it's wrong. It
So
makes enough
I
sense.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like Legoshi's not the only one that likes herbivores and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah, like
clearly
there's a few of them. And it's like,
like
heck
that's they're
yeah.
really cute together. I think that's kind of cute. It's a
Yeah,
very
it's
cute show.
adorable.
But
I was
yeah,
gonna
I saw
ask
that.
something really stupid, and I'm like, dude, would you date Bill? And it's like, wait a second.
I mean, no.
I guess the better question would be like, would you date Els? And then I'll be like, yeah, I'd probably date Bill if he seemed cool enough. If he wasn't a scumbag towards me.
You know, Bill does kind of seem like a major scumbag sometimes, but he's alright. He's
Yeah,
our scumbag.
it's wild the show like makes you turn on him so hard, because it's like, oh, this guy's just, he's just a scumbag, he's like a freaking, like weirdo, he's like the embodiment of all that's wrong with carnivore stuff, and it's like, oh no, he just like has like really strong beliefs, and he just wants to like help other carnivores out, he's just like wants to like, help out his fellow dudes, and he's just got their back.
Yeah, well, I think this episode I kind of was like, oh, I guess I don't hate Bill as much as I really do.
Do you think
because he's like just a normal guy?
Yeah, do you think there's a possibility that like going out with elves and like getting to know a herbivore would like make him change his ways,
I feel like it could definitely make him chill out.
Yeah, like he's
I
like
don't know if
looking
it
at
would
the
work
rabbit's
as
blood, and he's like, well, what if this came from my girlfriend? And he's like, that don't feel great.
Yeah, I don't think he would be as good as Legoshi about it, but
yeah, that makes sense. Like he wouldn't like throw himself in the way of shit for sure, I think.
no, but I mean, like I'm sure he could be a decent dude.
Yeah. And they just like show up, right? Because the school's like, hey, what? This isn't enough of like an allegory yet, so we need to introduce actual segregation.
Yeah, because now they're actually gonna segregate the entire like school.
Yeah, we have to segregate the clubs and stuff.
What's the catalyst of that? I forgot. Why did all of a sudden that start happening?
I think it's because the Annier guy's like arm gets torn off, and that like makes people freak out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess this was a bad idea."
That's what it is, yeah.
And but they're like, "But we have to save the club."
After we need to save the club, and I love it because Bill and Els come in and they're like, we can't have the club shut down and we can't be segregated. And then the rest of the group is all just chilling there like, yeah, we know, we're good, we don't want that either.
They're like, oh yeah, we good, and they just look down, they're holding hands, and they're like, and it's like, oh, that's adorable.
Cute. That's when it finally gets to Riz's backstory for a bit.
Yeah, we get
talks about him
like
taking his pills.
So hot pills. Take, Riz is the most interesting thing in this season outside of Legoshi, not Legoshi's arc, outside of like Lewis's whole like mob boss arc, because the Lewis arc is great. Riz, I feel like Riz steals the show by like a lot.
Riz does kind of steal the show, especially once like now. But the thing is that I feel like it came a bit late.
Oh yeah, this is like the tail end of this. Why is it? Oh, let me just like transform, flip horizontal. Wait, why not? Wait. All right, hang on. Just keep talking. I'll figure this out real quick.
Well, anyways, it goes about Riz talking about that he has nightmares and he can't sleep because of what he did to Tim, and then he's also like it talks about how he was taking pills and stuff, and the only person that ever like saw him as him, I guess, was Tim, because Tim wasn't afraid of him or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's also living with these, like, instincts and with this, like, fear of, like, discrimination from being, like, like, at the top of society and stuff. And Tim's, like... Here's the thing. It's implied Tim wasn't even, like, that close with him. He was just kind of being nice and just, hearing him out.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. And Riz is like, oh yeah, I need to like, I need him to like understand me. I need him to see the real me. I need to go off my meds because bears are so strong. They have to be like medicated so they're not like a threat to other animals. Use like,
I call it anti-steroids. Bears have to take anti-steroids.
Yeah, they have to take like muscle suppressants. Which, that makes off sense, I guess.
I guess it makes sense because if that, like, one, what was he, like a leopard or something, could rip an anteater guy's arm off, imagine what a big grizzly bear would be able to do.
Kai, the guy that Louis like yells out in season 1 because he tries to like argue out the drama stuff, and Louis just like, oh no you don't, I'm in control here.
Yeah, Louis is too busy being a prick.
Yeah, and then like Legoshi shuts him down like immediately.
Yeah, this is where it leads into probably this is what I wrote this down here. Is this a weird gay thing with Riz and Tem? Please, Death, give me a metaphor here.
I think it just straight up is. I think it's just like Riz is just like weirdly obsessed. This is gonna be surprising because I don't think this is specifically a gay thing. I think Riz is just like, you know, he gives into his instincts and kills Tim, and he's like freaking out, and he's like you know, rationalizing it in his mind. Yeah, he's trying to be like, oh, well, I didn't mean it. This is actually a good thing, right? And he's trying to bullshit away for this to, like, so he can live with himself with the guilt.
I mean, I guess he is kind of bullshitting himself, but from, like, early on in this, it seems like he really just kind of believes that. Like, Tem really did like him, and he really liked Tem.
Yeah, he is fully deluded himself. So here's the thing, and this is why I think that. So if you remember, I showed you a video, I sent it to you, where it's like comparing episode 1 to how this flashback plays out in this scene. How we see Tim's murder from Riz's perspective doesn't make sense with how it's shown in episode 1.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's
because
definitely
it's
like the fantasy of what he's doing.
Yeah, he like chases him
it even
down.
cuts from him like hugging Tem to him literally just eating Tem.
Yeah. Like, and Tim's trying to hug him with his like broken arm, and it's like clearly like, you know, it's like it's accurate up to a point, and then, you know, he just goes for it, and Riz is just like deluding himself to believe that Tim like gave him the hug, and he's like, oh, I actually care for you, and so that's why I want you to do it.
Tim's like, eat me. I want you to eat me. And I'm like, this is such a fucking delusion right now.
Yeah.
Dude's like, yeah, I'll eat you, bro. And he's like, what are you talking about?
For what's worth, Riz literally is off his meds, and we don't know what the crap kind of side effects that has on him.
It's true. I mean, like, we know the side effects while he's taking them. And he gets, like, headaches, and he's all... And
gets horrible migraines, and he has to, like, eat honey to fix it.
And, like, he does have muscle pains because literally his muscles are trying to grow, but he's suppressing them.
Yeah, they're freaking being screwed over.
So, like, his entire body is in pain while he's taking these meds. So I'm like, these meds are... Like, I think they need to go back to the fucking drawing board on these meds.
Yeah. I will point out, you know who's probably unmedicated? Gohim.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
and you look back, and it's like, oh, how do you like, you know, take out that entire like den full of Shishigumi? And it's like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Well, for like, one thing, he even points out that he was lucky enough to be a plant-eating carnivore, because like
and he's also been like training and stuff, and it's like Gohim is probably like the apex of what like an animal could realistically like achieve in this world as of this point.
I kept calling him Chen Stormstout because of Pandaria, World of Warcraft. He's a monk. He's a Pandaren monk, bro.
Yeah, just until we see some, like, giant lizard or some other crazy bullcrap, it's like, Gohim might be the strongest person in the series. Like, outside of maybe the giant snake, it's like, yeah, no, he's got this.
I mean, like, the giant snake could be a problem, but she was literally not...
Yeah, the giant snake's too chill to fight. She's too much of a weirdo, and I love her. Yeah, can you do you remember all the times where she's like, "Oh, I've always been watching you and stuff," and it's like the killer just confesses and does all this stuff just out in the school, and it's like, "Oh, didn't you hear that shit?" No, guess not. Okay.
Yeah,
And I feel like that would really
then
throw off Rizzo's calculations if a giant snake tattled on him and then just like
yeah,
showed up out of nowhere and like constricted him. But then there wouldn't be a plot, so fair enough.
yeah, they had to like leave her out of the rest of the season because like she could actually just solve the problem.
Oh
So
yeah,
like
easily, extremely easily.
she literally kind of got written out of the plot.
Yeah, they don't even like lampshade it. They just want you to forget she was a thing.
Yeah, like the shade of the lamp took its week off. They just like
Yeah.
forgot that she existed.
It's not even like a shaded lamp. It's just the lamp is off. The lamp is off right now.
Yeah, they're
We
just like
just put it
whatever.
in the closet.
But yeah, that's where
Speaking
we get.
of characters in the closet, Louis.
Yeah. Let me just see. So episode 8, we have that like cold opening with
I don't know if you had more you wanted to say yet. That was just too good of a segue.
No. I would just say that like in episode 8, it kind of opens with that cold open. If you remember with the what is she, like a cheetah girl?
Oh
Lol.
yeah, is this where we get? No, right. That was last season where we got the stripper. Right. This is
No.
What's her name? I can't even remember right now.
She was
Whatever.
one
It'll
of
come back to me.
she was one of the students, and she was out, and she was like learning to be friends with with the herbivores and stuff, and
Okay, yeah, Sheila. That's her name. I forgot.
yeah, Sheila.
There we go. That's a better image.
Yeah, this is kind of nice. I was like, oh, this is cute.
Yeah.
She's all awkward because she doesn't know how to shop, and then like she gets all awkward because they don't know how to, and then it kind of just works out, and it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah, this is like really adorable and wholesome. Like, I never really cared about Sheila before this. You know what? I like Sheila. Sheila's a good girl.
Barely even knew. I literally wrote, what was it? Focus on more people we don't know and I don't care about, but I want to see what happens.
Yeah. Like, this is nice. This is a nice little change of pace. And it's like, hey, here's
It's
why
also
Yeah, this is why
showing
this.
that
Yeah.
like carnivores and herbivores getting together, like along together.
Yeah, just in the wake of the segregation thing, it's like, oh, it turns out they can understand each other and they like can like find common ground and figure things out, you know?
Like I think they were shopping for clothes, and
Yeah,
she's like,
it's really
I'm so jealous of
refreshing
your white
after
fur.
the entirety of season 1 being like, oh wait, no, carnivores actually are monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But
This one
yeah.
tried to add a bit more sympathy to some carnivores in this season.
Heck yeah.
But that's so it goes through this like this really cute girly mall
Yeah.
shopping bit that I actually kind of liked for a while. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, makeover time.
Let's go.
Learning how to be friends isn't that nice. How are
Learn
we
that
gonna
like
fuck it up though?
Yeah, learning that leopards can't wear stripes or patterns because their spots clash with
Their spots
everything.
clash with everything, yeah. But
Honestly, for like how limited her wardrobe would be, Sheila's like fashionable as heck. I love her fits.
yeah, she's rocking a pretty dope jacket
Heck
and everything.
yeah.
But then we also cut after this to the opening, and then it's Legoshi on his shonen arc.
Legoshi on his training arc.
Yeah, which is also I can't believe it took me 8 episodes or 2 seasons and 8 episodes in, but I finally wrote down here Legoshi. I get it because Bella Lugosi is the original Wolfman.
Oh.
In the original black and white Wolfman, the guy who played him was Bela Lugosi.
I thought Bela Lugosi was Dracula.
Is it? Fuck.
That's either really clever or we're both massive idiots.
We're probably both massive idiots. But anyways, I just thought it was another cool reference to like Universal monster movies. So I was like, oh, that's clever. I can't believe it took me that long to figure that one out.
Wolfman, Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
Like spelled Lugosi, not
It's not
Lugoshi.
Legoshi, but like they're kind of the same, like close to each other.
Yeah,
so, like
it sounds like it'd be like the same name, but like like spelled using like Japanese pronunciation, right? Mm-hmm.
I just kind of was thinking about that while I was watching it, and I was like, that's actually really clever.
Yeah, I don't think C is like a thing in Japan. I think it only is she. I could be wrong. I might be completely wrong.
Well, I mean, it makes more sense to have the she.
Yeah, Legoshi. Yeah, that makes sense.
Legoshi, but you know.
Yeah,
I just thought I was kind of sitting there looking at that, and I was like, that's actually really funny.
So Legoshi's doing his training arc. I think this is the point where like Gohim's just like, oh, you're worried about losing strength in your jaw? Okay, here's a muzzle. Go fight some dudes.
This is where he first gets muzzled, and then he learns that his muscles in his body are stronger now, though, but his jaw's weaker, I guess.
Have a muzzle, now go be Batman. Go be like a frickin' noir back alley frickin' detective.
Yeah, and then he just starts beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
But, so he's begun his training, basically. But then there's also, as it kind of keeps going, this really didn't go anywhere, but I thought it was funny, is it goes back to Juno and Haru for a little bit.
Oh, and yeah.
I was like, is Juno falling in love with Haru?
I think Joe's just like, damn, Haru's really cute. I don't think I can compete with that. Although they definitely have their shippers.
Yeah, but by the end of that, I realized that Juno thinks Haru is a people ruiner. From like, aren't you the people ruiner?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, Juno starts to bring stuff to the Foreign Garden just to, like, get word on Haru, and she's ready to leave, and Haru's just like, no, you're gonna help me with these flowers, damn it.
Yeah, that was really funny.
We don't have enough Haru this season. Haru's great.
No, there was not a lot of Haru. I did like that, like, she goes to go get some box, and then, like, it almost falls on her, and Juno's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I'm just working smart. And they're like, but there's a step ladder. And she's like, yeah, but this is easier. They're co-strength each other them, so why not hook up? Yeah,
it's true.
So, I have seen something pretty fun, and it seems really rare, but apparently there's, like, a fanship AU where, like, Juno is a trans woman, and she's gay for Haru, and it's actually kind of adorable. Just people, like, just being, like, transphobic to Juno, and then Haru just steps up and starts, like, talking shit. But I kind of love it, but it's such a weird, like, pick, you know?
It is kind of weird. But after we get a little bit of Haru in this episode, just to remind us that she exists.
Yeah.
Same with Juno, just so that you remember that Juno and Haru exist.
Remember when Haru was a thing?
Yeah, it cuts back to Lewis.
Isn't this the scene where Lewis is staring at a naked lizard man about to get his like dick ripped off, and like the lad's just like, maybe you shouldn't watch this one. Maybe it's like just too adult for a literal child, you know?
I'm gonna tell you, this is like near the end of this episode, and once it ended here, I had to take a break from until I got to episode 9, because again, in this stupid fucking anime shows, they cannot pronounce Cayman.
Yeah, I guess this is just how I pronounce it in Japanese. It's just Kaiman.
That is not how it's pronounced.
I'm trying to think, is there like would the pronunciation work with like Japanese like well, I guess Kaka would like, allow it, but yeah, like hiragana, right?
When I heard them call this thing a Kaiman, do you want to know how mad I was? I wrote, "Fuck you!" They said Kaiman again. It's fucking Cayman, you stupid chuckle fucks.
I don't know if that's his name. I think they're saying he's a Kaiman.
I know, maybe, but still, even if not, you chuckle fucks, it's Cayman.
I'm kind of surprised. I thought you'd be happy to see like a true lizard man in the series.
No, I was really dope. I was like, yo, it's a lizard guy. It's so funny. And then
yeah.
they were like, he's a Kaiman. And I was like, I'm done.
You're done.
I quit.
I know I watched Dorohedoro, and you learned that it's like the guy's name is because he's like a Kaiman lizard, so they call him Kaiman, and you're just like, screw off.
It's pronounced Cayman. Cayman.
No, but I is like an I sound, so it's Kaiman.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, that pissed me off. If that wasn't obvious.
Does Japanese even have like Y sounds? I'm actually not sure. Like,
oh yeah, and then the alligator guy's like, I'm sure it'll be fine, just as long as you don't take anything important, and then they chop his dick off.
Yeah, it's like an old goat man that's like, if I eat a Kaiman dick, it's gonna help me make love to my wife one last time. And he's like, oh shit, no, not that.
You're saying Kaiman just to piss me off, aren't you?
It's really funny. It's really funny.
So they chop this guy up, and fucking Lewis is hanging out, being an LA noir character.
Yeah. Lewis
like standing, looking over town, looking over the like downtown with all the lights out over his like little like mansion thing that he's standing on, and he's like, "This is my city." I'm like, okay, Batman, chill out.
And that's the point where, like, Lewis runs into Legoshi, and he's just like, oh, you again, you freaking idiot, as they're gonna shoot him. And Legoshi's like, okay, I'm just gonna escape, like, 8 armed mobsters and just swim away and don't worry about it.
I think that happens in the next episode, but, we do learn at the end of episode 8 that Lewis's number 2 guy was also black market food before he like joined Shishigumi.
Yeah, Ibushi, I think his name is.
Yeah, Ibuki or
Ibushi, yeah. Ibushi, yeah.
I think I wrote Ibuki a couple times for his name.
It might be Ibuki. I add first out pretty quick, yeah. Ibuki, because I'm already bad with names, so it's like put him in a different. Okay, it is Ibuki, yeah.
Yeah, I just kept calling him Lewis's number 2.
Yeah, Ibuki, I think. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, okay, so I kept putting Ibuki.
You know, things are bad when even people who aren't watching the show are correcting me.
And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then it ends on probably the most melodramatic bullshit ever, where Haru gives Lewis a call, and then he takes his phone and drops it, and I'm like, ugh.
It's so melodramatic, but it's so fun, and the phone breaks on the ground.
Yeah, like,
and it's like, oh, his old life is done. It's broken. It can't be repaired. And he's leaving it behind him, and it's like, oh, that's just gonna go out the window.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I wrote sometime in episode 10, like, Lewis has an arc, but it really goes nowhere.
Yeah, he joins the mobsters for a bit. He's like, oh, we're on different paths. We have to live different lives, and then it's like, Legoshi shows up, and Legoshi's just like, oh, well, drat, they're gonna know who I am. I need a disguise. So he just shows up in drag, and
yeah.
Ibuki's just immediately like, wait, is that the boss's type? I mean, I don't know, like, judge him, but do I save him from this? And, like, freaking Louis just like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're gonna get recognized. And Legoshi's like, oh, he's got like his mid here. Oh, I shouldn't be too obvious. And they're all like, wait, what the crap am I gonna do with this?
I'm pretty sure that happens like close to the end, but
yeah,
this one when I do believe in episode 9 they do meet each other again. Let me
yeah, this
see.
is where Legoshi jumps off the bridge, right? He jumps off the pier.
Legoshi is fighting. He's doing hard work.
Yeah, they
Lewis
like
and Legoshi
capture
show up.
him, and they're like, "You're the one who's messing with our shipments, right?" And it's like, "Yeah, kind of." And
they
he's
thought he
just
was eating
lying super
meat.
hard.
They thought he was eating like meat, but he was actually just he's bleeding from because he's getting his ass kicked at some points.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dope, a misunderstanding. How weird.
They take Legoshi to their hideout, and they're like, okay, yeah, come on, eat your steak, kid.
He's like, he says that he's a fox, and his name is Haru.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a large fox, so the only thing I eat is fried tofu.
Yeah.
And then, like, Lewis is like, you fucking moron. Okay, fine, I'll show you how it's done. Nom, nom, nom.
And he's like, oh, no.
Yeah, like, Lewis eats more meat than Legoshi just to fuck with him. They're like, even our lads are like, wow, that was a big one. Holy crap, dude.
Like, oh, look at that big bite. But then, they're having, like, a talk, I guess, outside, and then all of, like, Lewis's goons show up and point guns at Legoshi, and then he gets a new fight with all of them, and I was like, what the fuck? This is so awesome.
Yeah,
like, it was just
a
random action scene where Legoshi beats the shit out of these guys and then holds Lewis hostage, quote unquote, for like a second, and then he's like, we need you back at school. Haru needs you. I need you. And then he jumps off a building.
Yeah, he jumps off the pier, off the dock.
What a Chad.
Oh,
which,
man.
by the way, something I think Gohan said to him he's like, you can't fight the bear by yourself. Like, you need to make allies. And I was like, I get it. He's making allies.
Yeah. There's another little thing that they say that I kind of, like, missed the first time around, where it's like, oh, yeah, he's, like, training with Gohim, and then, you know, he's just, like, this girl just shows up with, like, scars and stuff, and he's like, oh, yeah, here's this, like, you know, psycho and somatic music. It'll help, like, suppress your instincts, and, you know, hey, bye. And he's like, that's what it's all about, rehabilitative justice, you know. You can just lock her away, but that's not gonna do any good. We want to, like, save her as a person. And,
he's like, the first time I saw her, she had just eaten 3 ferrets. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and then, you know, it's like, well, why doesn't Legoshi just, like, call the cops on Riz? And it's like, well, no, he wants to, like, save him as a person. But also characters keep being like, why don't you just call the cops? You know he's the killer. He's right there. And, like, people say it enough that it's really hard not to be like, maybe you should just call the cops.
I also want to point out that when Legoshi and Lewis are on the, like, balcony talking to each other, just alone for a bit, literally, he says to Louis, he's like, let's run away together, just you and me. And I was like, gay, super gay.
The Lewis Legoshi shippers are, like, eating well this season.
I was like, now geese.
Unironically. But Phustus, what if there is a way to understand each other even deeper than a kiss?
Well, we'll find out about that, won't we? Because next we actually get to...
we'll find out about that as in, like, us, or, like... Phustus?
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about fucking!
I'm not, actually, surprisingly, for once. Where was I? I lost my point where it was.
I know, it's very distracting of me to just throw that in front of you.
Where was? All right, yeah, and then it ends, and then it basically ends off because, I don't know, but
Yeah.
episode 10, we open up on Riz still feeling a bit gay about eating Tem.
Yeah, Riz is the murderer, by the way, in case you missed it.
Oh yeah, Risley Bear. That was literally in the beginning of this arc of the first.
Yeah.
It happened in episode 7, the first of the 6 episodes we were watching.
Yeah, remember Bearman? No.
No, because
Well,
he
there
wasn't
he
a
is.
character in like season 1. He's just like a background character. I didn't even think he had a voice yet.
Background character was the killer. Who knew? Oh, what a twist. You didn't guess it, huh?
No, I mean, like,
I
they
think
had.
you did guess it, but yeah.
I think I probably said it at one point. I was like, yeah,
If
it's
I
this
remember
bear.
right, I showed you all the carnivores in the drama club, and I'm like, well, these is the killer. And you literally sat there and logicked it out, and you're like, yeah, it's probably like, it's either like, Bill or it's the bear. I don't think it'd be Bill, but maybe.
Yeah, I think I did logic that out. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was either Bill or the bear because like of the silhouette.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because it has to be
and,
like
like,
someone really big and really strong.
and with like kind of shorter ears, not like
Yeah,
dog
so with
ears.
actual teeth that towers over Legoshi.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I guess they try to make Riz a character here because he talks about how much he likes cooking and how he no longer tastes anything.
Yeah, you want to make a character endearing? Just relate them to any food, and there you go.
And yeah, and he's got some bear buddies that hang out with him that love his food.
Yeah. Isdol wrote, eliminate all impossibilities and what remains, no matter how illogical, must be the answer. Exactly.
But then this is where, after like a little bit of character development for Riz for a second, then it cuts to Legoshi and he says probably my favorite thing. He's just kind of like having a panic attack. And he's like, I keep having sex dreams about Haru. Like, bro is like, he's ready to fucking
Bro is down bad. Bro's having the wet dreams.
Bro is in heat.
Bro is like, listen, Phustus, have you heard the Omegaverse? It like that.
Yeah.
It like that sometimes.
Yeah. And then Haru actually does show up.
Badder than I've ever seen him before.
And then Haru does actually show up, and
he's like, "Oh, the real one."
Yeah. For a second, though, I love this. I wrote here, "Is this still a sex dream?" Because like she was all over him for a second,
yeah.
and then she was like, "But I'm thinking about Lewis," and then I was like, "Nope, not a sex dream."
Yeah. Yeah, Legoshi's like, I have to devote my entire being into trading to make up for the wrongs of my species. I must devote myself completely to this. And Haru's just sitting there like, I don't know if this is good for you, dude. You seem like you're kind of like pushing yourself. And he's like, but I must for all carnivores. And she's like, dude, you don't have to. But and he's like, will you marry me? Eventually. She's like, I guess? What? Oh, okay. I think that some carnivores will have tried binge eating before being intimate with herbivores. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we have to ban this guy real quick. Let me just, slash... there we go. Done. Take care of that, bot.
Yeah, this is also where fake Lewis. We see him hitting on another goat girl, and then he's in the bathroom, acting all fucking melodramatic, and then Riz is like right
Yeah.
behind him, scares the shit out of him,
Of
and
course, a
like
food coma might put a hamper on your sex drive. True.
that's true. If you ever eat like half a pizza and then want to go do sex, it ain't happening.
It's like, you ever have those like days where you're like, man, I could really use like this thing, and you're like, I really want to just eat this, and then you don't get it, and you're like, but I still really want to eat it, you know? I feel like it's
Yeah.
like that.
I do that sometimes when I'm like, man, I should really make like this food today, and then I never make it. And I'm like, kind of wanted that.
Yeah.
um, but this is where I wrote like, cause I think Riz like, for a second it looks like he bites his finger off, but he just like sucks on it like a freak.
Yeah, he just sucks on Pina's finger like a freak just to scare the shit out of him
Yeah,
and be like, I'm not afraid of you. I can just kill you whenever I want.
I
Oh,
was like,
you
good,
know
eat that
what my
pansy ass
secret
goat.
is? Okay, that just makes you a target.
I was like, good, eat that pansy ass goat. Fuck this guy. I hate him.
Pina gets so in over his head and then folds immediately. And when he tries to double down, he makes it so much worse for himself.
Yeah, and then he's on stage with Juno, and they're like doing the thing. Which, by the way, does anyone in this fucking drama club ever like stick to the script of the fucking play?
Okay, hear me out. As had thoughts. I think I know why Pia feels so weird, because he's like, he's all of the ego of like Lewis, and he's truly trying to like, he's trying to replace his role in the plot. So he's like, he's all the ego, he's all the narcissism, he's all this other stuff, but without the actual like level-headed decision making that Lewis had that made him so like endearing, right?
Well, here's
Like
the
he's
thing: is
all
like
the overconfidence and none of the like restraint.
I didn't like Lewis in the first season, but like I assumed he could change and could be a better person. This guy's got nothing going for him, really. Like he's
Yeah,
just an
Peeta's just like
asshole,
a showy like weirdo.
and he's proud of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I think closer to the end here is when yeah, um Legoshi and Riz fight each other for a bit.
Yeah, they fight each other in the bathroom and they just take turns beating the shit out of each other viciously. And
Yeah.
then, like, an
Actually,
old lady's just like, oh, hey, bathroom cleaning. And Riz is like, oh, yeah, give us a minute. We'll, like, get out of here. No problem. And they
so
just have to sit down and be like, wow, that really puts a dent in our fight. Oh, this really kills the vibe.
so there's a bit where Legoshi's gonna walk up and like fight Riz, right?
Yeah.
And there's actually a joke in the dub from the voice actor that was kind of
Yeah.
made up. And it's literally, he says, ho ho, you approach me. Because it's the same fucking voice actor as Dio!
Oh, that's great. I didn't even catch it.
In the English voice cast, it's the guy who plays Riz plays Dio. And when
Yeah.
Legoshi's coming up to him and he's like about to fight him in the thing, he's like, oh, you approach me. And I was like, ah!
Saw a clip of the finger scene. I imagine it led to the weirdest fear boner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right for Pina.
Yeah, he probably was like that. Weird, but also hot, but weird.
But very, very weird. Extremely weird.
Yeah, so I just basically like they decide that they're gonna do a new fight in New
They
Year's.
decide they're gonna do it.
Yeah. This is also when I wrote Dio versus Jotaro, just because
Oh, yeah, straight up.
I was like Dio versus Jotaro on New Year's. Wait, never mind. It's Riz versus Legoshi on New Year's. I should get
Yeah.
that right.
New Year's Day. Be there or be square. We'll sell this on the bridge and you're gonna die.
Which leads us into episode 11.
The one where
which is
Legoshi talks to Lewis, and he's like, hey, so I'm gonna fight a bear, and there's a chance I might fucking die. And Lewis is like, okay, but, like, have you called the cops? And Legoshi's just like,
yeah.
no.
I wrote this one. I put like as my own episode title. I put it might be Death's favorite because it's got Legoshi cross dressing, and it's got a big ghost moth.
The
And I
ghost
was like,
moth is really good. Yeah, because Legoshi is like, all right, I need to get stronger. I need to, like, like, find a way to, like, up myself just a little bit. And he's like, okay, I need to finally eat meat. I need to eat a living thing just to know how it feels. So, he eats a, like, worm that will have turned into a moth. And that's where we get, this crazy scene.
this shot with the moth ghost. I was like, what is that? I literally looked away for 5 seconds, and I turned back around, and there was a ghost moth. I had to go back just to see what the fuck happened.
This is the point where you just look at the show, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is Jump the Shark.
Yeah, I was like, I think... yeah, big ghost moth. What the fuck is happening right now? That's my
yeah,
exact
because
note.
Legoshi's like hallucinating like Riz is. He's like understanding his point of view because now he's taking a life and he's rationalizing the guilt and he's communicating with the ghost moth and it's like, oh, but do not spit me out. Do not be ashamed. Live with your decisions, Legoshi. Live with them and learn. Become powerful so this will never happen again. And Legoshi's like literally crying.
Yeah, he's so sad that he ate this moth, and the moth's like, you must use my power.
Use my power. Do what's right, Legoshi. You see, you should just go ahead and live your life and live with no remorse. And Legoshi's like, man, I wish I was an insect. It must be so much easier. It's like being an insect kind sucks, actually. And he's like, oh yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I wrote down here more bear time with Riz being a goofy ass fuck, but can't remember what he was doing, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that might be the scene where Riz is hanging out with his friends again, making food, and he's just licks something off the table, and he's like, oh, my sense of taste is coming back. I'm off my meds. I'm getting stronger.
Like, salty.
Yeah, he picks up a tomato and he crushes it in his hand effortlessly.
I think it's a can of tomato juice.
Yeah.
And then he licks the tomato juice and he's like, delicious.
It's so, Riz is so interesting and endearing this season despite being the killer. He's such a good villain.
And then, then we get the bar scene with Legoshi.
Yeah, the bar scene that I mentioned before.
Yeah, where he cross-dresses.
And, Lewis is just like, damn, that idiot thinks I'm going to show up just because he might die.
Yeah.
And he stops and thinks about it for 5 seconds, and he's like, damn it, I had to go and, cheer that idiot on, or he's going to fucking die.
This is when I realized, actually, in this, that Lewis's plot, where you kept saying it was, a good arc and everything, really went nowhere.
It really does go nowhere, but it's so good while it lasts, you know?
I mean... Not really. It wasn't as good as I thought it was. Looking back at it, he didn't do anything.
Well, no, he, led the Shishigumi, and he's like, oh, I can be just as much a carnivore as you are, and he's, defying his instincts, and he's he's, just living with them and doing the thing. He's, he's wasting away to prove his ideology and confronting his father and stuff. And then he's like, oh, but when I think back, everything I am comes back to my feelings for Legoshi, and God, am I gay?
I also, because this was at the end of episode 11, right? I wrote, This show is both so straight in the first season and so gay in the second season.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on anymore. This is like tonal whiplash.
Feels incredibly fucked up that bears are forced to be drugged by societal mandate. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it is pretty weird that they're like forced to be drugged, but like...
Yeah, to suppress their muscle mass because they're too strong.
Bear too strong.
Bear too strong, but also deer have gun. And deer is dying, but he still has gun.
And that's when we get into episode 12, the fight episode, which I really didn't have much to say about at the beginning.
I do want to point something out. So, hey, remember the ED?
Yeah.
Plays in front of episode 12 because they're finally at the tunnel. The ED, that I've really talked about yet, is like, oh, Ibuki's like, yo, he's like driving somewhere with like Louis, and he's like, yo, he's like reflecting on their time together and reflecting on the nature of himself as a carnivore. He's like staring at the skull, and it all gets like destroyed because Louis comes into his life and like makes him forget about like the monster he's supposed to be, and they like keep going, and it's like, where are they going? And it's like they're going to the tunnel, and now they're in the tunnel, no one knows what's gonna happen next because they can't just let Louis walk away, but at the same time his instincts are gonna take over if he tries to kill him. And he like gives his like close like second, like one of the other lines, a gun, and he's like, yeah, if I go out of control and go for the boss, take me out.
And the guy does do that. He does shoot him, and then that guy's like, you need to leave and never come back.
If deer not want wolf to die, why bring gun and shoot bear? Good question.
I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Okay, we'll get to that. But so I just like, Legoshi gets his fucking ass kicked.
Oh yeah, Legoshi goes into this fight, and you're like, all right, you can do it, and it's like, oh, you cannot do it.
And then the best part is he just like sits on his side and he's like, tell me about it, bro. And then they have a therapy session.
Riz is like, you can never understand my pain. And Legoshi's like, yeah, it's true. Okay, so what was it actually like? And Riz is like, wait, you serious? And Legoshi's like, yeah, hang on. And he just gets on his side and he's just chilling and he's like, all right, now I'm good. Okay, go. Yeah, I'm fine, it's fine. I listen to you.
Draw me like one of your French girls and tell me, and then they have a fucking therapy session. I'm like, what is going on in this TV show?
Yeah, because it's like rehabilitative justice, right? It's like Legoshi wants to talk to Riz and understand where he's coming from, because if they had find that mutual understanding, maybe, just maybe, he can like turn him away from like, you know, being a murderer and just like actually, you know, get him to like better himself as a member of society, right?
No, I get like what his plan was there. It's just really funny. Sorry.
But it's also like, this is the longest of long shots, and you should probably have called the cops.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, when they start the fight, he's got blood all over him, and it's because he beat the shit out of the fake Lewis.
Yeah,
and then like
he caught
put his blood all over him
because Pina was trying to sum up and get a confession, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna use you as a hostage to make this more interesting," because he wants Legoshi to be riled up, right? He wants Legoshi to like come at him and for him to like just fight him as a carnivore so that they can like, you know, like test how much of a monster they are and see who's the more monstrous of the two, and they start that, and then Legoshi doesn't give him that, and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like questioning my life choices.
Which is and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, as if a writer teleported him to the place, Lewis shows up.
Yeah, very late, but also he made it.
Yes, but here's my main thing. Well, actually, I'll get to that in 1 second.
Yeah.
Um,
Lewis has a little reason to care about this. Exactly. But it has to work this way for the plot. And it's just
yeah.
like, this is the thing. It's like season one. I freaking love season one. Season one's great. It's super like interesting. There's so many like neat themes and ideas to explore. Season one has everything together so well, and then you go into season two, and it's like, oh, the cracks are really showing now. And the further it goes along, the more it feels like it's kind of falling apart and just barely holding together.
This is
Like,
where oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, like I still really love season two, but it's like, yeah, from like a writing perspective, you look at this and it's like things are just happening because this is how it has to be for the themes of the plot.
So yeah, when Lewis shows up, I don't know exactly how this happens, but like you see train pass by, and then they get up on top of the bridge somehow.
Yeah, they like slip
Did I
away and
miss
Riz is
something?
like, okay, I'll just wait for
Anyways,
him to come back.
yeah, and then they just kind of like chill, but and then Lewis gets to play his season one role of being a douchebag.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He plays his season one role of being a douchebag, but this time, Lewis can't keep it together. The
Yeah, and
facade
then he cries.
cracks. He's been through too much.
The show, and then I wrote, this show has lots of homo. I love it.
Yeah, this is the... Listen, there is no heterosexual explanation for what's happening right now. Lewis literally shows up because he loves Legoshi too much and cares too much about him, and they like sit
Yeah.
up on the bridge, and he's like crying because he's like, I'm like, one of my best friends died, and now I'm gonna lose you too, and I can't lose like the man I love, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's like, if you keep going like this, you're going to die. You have to do something drastic. And then that's the moment where Lewis is just like, okay, you need to eat my leg.
He's like, eat my leg. Or just eat me is what he says at first. He's like, yo, eat me. You have to eat me. Right? And this is where I stopped for like a hot second and was like, what happened to your gun?
Yeah. Just lost
Like,
his
I know,
third
like, the
dad to
point.
stand
I
in,
know
like, the bees for him. He'd go out for the same reason the same fine would break him.
Like, I get that Legoshi probably wouldn't have even used the gun if he had it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But Lewis would have. Where was his gun?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good scene, honestly. Just Lewis take out the gun and trying to, like, just be like, hey, stop, like, one more move and and Legoshi has to, like, be the one to talk him down. He's like, no, don't do this. This isn't what either of us want.
I think it would be really interesting because, like, actual grizzly bears would would need a higher caliber rifle to even be able to penetrate through their skin. So like Lewis's pistol would like hit him and he'd be like, ah, and then he just fucking throws Lewis against the
That'd be a
wall.
good point for them to, like, slip away. Because it's like, oh, you just, like, beam him in the skull, and because he's a bear, he just shrugs off. He's just got the blood trailing down his head. And then you can have them have the talk and be like, okay, so what do you do? How do you want to do this? And he's like, oh, I'm going to keep the fight going. And he's like, you can't.
I just feel like they had Chekhov's gun this entire time and forgot to use it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, to be fair, the gun did go off. They killed Ibuki.
That's true. But actually, his gun didn't go off. It was another gun. That is a different.
Oh, is it a different gun? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not keeping track of which gun's which.
It was like the guy who gave
it was like
when Ibuki gave
gun?
that one guy. When Ibuki gave that one guy the gun, he shot Ibuki. Yeah. Right? He's like, if you ever see me try to eat the boss, then I need you to shoot me. And so that's what happened.
And it's like, all right, Louis, you dropped out of school, and now you've got the blood of a mobster on your hand, and the blood of their former boss, and you tried to leave them. You do not, like, go back to the black market,
Yeah,
ever.
he's like, don't ever come back to the black market or we'll kill you.
Just straight
But
up, like, yeah, no, this cannot be settled without, like, bloodlust. Like, if you come back, we need to take you out, or we're going to look weak after all of this. There's no justification.
so they have this like really intimate scene between Lewis and Legoshi staring into each other's eyes as he's about to eat Lewis, and then it cuts back to Riz, and fucking Super Legoshi shows up.
Yeah, friggin' Legoshi shows up and it's like first grown out and it's like standing on it. Like he basically
Yeah,
goes
like
Super Saiyan.
he became Super Legoshi. And then started beating the shit out of Riz, and Riz is like, I see you ate him, and it feels good. And he's like, yeah, it does, because Lewis is all around me all the time now, right?
Yeah, and he's
And
like,
then literally, if you just look over to the right, and they kind of like do it, like they cut to him immediately afterwards. But if you do look over to the right in the background, you can see Lewis just kind of sitting behind that on that tree.
yeah, Riz is like, oh, so you also killed your friend. You're just as bad as me. And Legoshi's like, no, we have something you'll never understand. And Lewis is like, do it, Legoshi, kick his ass.
Yeah, he's
And
just
he's like,
chilling
oh
there.
shit.
Got no leg.
Yeah, it's like he literally just destroys his entire ideology on the fly because he's like, no, even if you do eat them, you don't have to take their life. That's unnecessary. Like, the only reason you went that far is so they couldn't talk back.
The weirdest power of love power up. Yeah,
Yeah,
eat me and get power.
there's
It's really weird.
worth knowing there's two things I want to point out about this. So, first, the leg he eats is specifically the leg with the number
The
4
number
on
four
from
on
like the
it. Yeah.
black market. So it's like Lugosi is like literally like, he's removing the curse from him. He's like freeing him from like the curse of his past by doing that, right? On the Mac level.
Yeah. Also, this has been what Lewis has been talking about since season 1. Is somebody eating him?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Do you remember their conversation season 1 where like Lewis is like, talking with Legoshi? He's just like, oh, you want to like show me your claws and like, be a carnivore, don't you? You want to be dominant? If I gave you my right leg, would you eat it? And it's like, turns out, yes, he would.
Yes, he does. And then Riz kind of gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, Riz gets his ass kicked, but notably, he doesn't get, like, knocked out or defeated. He's just losing for a bit, and then, like, the New Year's
he gets
rolls
put on
in.
the back foot, and then the like 12 o'clock rings, and Lugosi's like, looks like we made it to the end of the New Year's, eh?
I wish he would have at least, like, knocked him flat on his ass, and then Riz just, like, stops, and he's like, okay, I concede.
I think it would have been really funny if both of them, like, punched each other in the face, and they both, like, fell, and then, like, the 12 bell ring, and they're like, are you dead? No, are you? No.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just, like, over.
The fact that there's like still standing and just kind of ends is so weird and unsatisfying. And it's like, yeah, you could like argue weird. It's like, oh, the real point wasn't the fight. Yeah, I kind of want to kind of be like something,
Riz also just kind of like gives up.
Yeah, he just gives up, and he's like, you know what? You understand the same thing I do, right? You just, you ate your friend and you kept your senses and you, like, kept them alive. And he's like, I've been ideologically defeated. I guess that you can form a bond without bloodshed or murder after all, huh? Okay, you win. I'll, like, turn myself in. And yeah, that's just straight up what happens. He just goes to jail.
It's into the season wrap up. Legoshi and Riz
also,
are
Legoshi
arrested.
goes to jail for a bit, but he's out fast.
He gets released. Although he is like put on a list
Yeah.
because he literally ate Lewis's leg, so like they're like, that's not cool, bro.
I
But Lewis
can't
is like, no,
believe
it's
Lewis
fine.
gave up his leg and Legoshi didn't even win the fight.
No.
I hate it so much.
But like it kind of just ends there.
Yeah, it just kind of ends. It just sort of stops, and it's like, well, that's season 2.
Like I feel like there was not enough Haru in this season.
There really wasn't, and now season 3's out, and it's probably the final season. I don't know if there's a season 3 part 2 or something, but yeah. And yeah, I guess it's gonna continue with that, and who knows where the crap that's even gonna go.
Yeah.
Lewis is
So
just like, why the hell did I just shoot the damn bear? And it's
yeah,
like, oh, rehabilitative justice, right? Uh,
yeah. To be honest, I kind of was like mid on this like half of the season.
yeah, it's like there's a lot of interesting stuff in the first half of like season 2, and a lot of interesting stuff in the back half. But it's especially towards the end, it's like, oh no.
Things just kind of like started falling apart.
Yeah,
Like
it's like kind of the inevitable like manga thing where it's like, oh, you keep going and you keep having to push stuff out like week to week, and it just wears you down. And it's like your writing just gets like less clean and less polished, and
it
it's
does seem
like,
like they
yeah.
were like the writer was kind of on a bit of a like crunch, and
Yeah,
they
like
just wanted to finish the
she
arc.
knows the themes and ideas she wants to go for, and they're really interesting, but it's like the struggle making everything click, right? It's that struggle to like connect the dots and make like a very like clear like, point A to point B to point C connection here.
I feel like Riz should have been in season 2 a bit more at least.
Yeah, if Riz was more around at the start, that'd be great. Also because we need something to break up Legosi's whatever the heck. I've
Yeah,
already talked in the R video on season 2 why I don't really care for Legosi's character arc this season, and
because it
oh
doesn't
boy.
actually. I noticed that a lot of character arcs this season are pretty stagnant. Like nobody really goes
Yeah, they
anywhere,
don't really have much of
and
a
if they
conclusion.
do go somewhere, they just circle back to where they were.
Yeah, it's like we're kind of back to the status quo, which is crazy because it's Beastars, and it's just like jumping the shark and just doing whatever the heck it wants is kind of what the series does. Like
Yeah,
that's
like
kind of where it's at its best, you know?
I was all right with this like ending and everything. I was like, okay, but like I feel like it was
Yeah.
there's missing pieces to this.
So here's my big question. What's the theme of season 1? It's like, okay, can a wolf love a rabbit? And it's like, okay, that's like very
Can carnivores and
straightforward, very
herbivores get
comprehensive.
together?
It's a good through line.
Yeah,
What's the big theme of season 2?
gay?
Can animals connect without eating meat? And the answer seems to kind of be no, not
Maybe kind of because like they can shop, I
kinda.
guess, but like no. You
It's
know what? They were
like,
really like back and forward with the message on this one. It was like, no, they can't. Absolutely not. And then like the next episode would be like, yes, they can live together. Absolutely. And I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, it doesn't feel like a proper dialogue between the two sides. It just feels like, the show doesn't know where it wants to stand on this, right? That's like, oh yeah, well, of course, like, segregation bad, we're all in agreement on that. But it's also like, this is a real problem, and these differences are like so deep. And it's like, maybe we should kind of like understand our instincts and like,
But
given
this
to
is a
those
lot
like
different.
urges because
This is
like
a lot different kind of segregation than it would be for like us, right?
yeah, it's like
Like
I
us is just kind of racist because of like the color of people's skin. This is actually because a bear will rip you apart just
yeah,
because he's a
this
bear.
I think this is kind of inevitably like the problem with all metaphors for like discrimination because like at the end of the day, you're gonna have to have a point where you have to describe why this is like a difference. And 9 out of 10, it's gonna be something connected to the plot that has to like justify why the group is hated. So it becomes circular, whereas like real bigotry is just like, people are just being dicks and they just don't care what our people think about it. It's like why people hate gay rights, and it's like there's never gonna be a logical reason. It's just because they just hate being different.
Yes. This season was kind of flip floppy on its morals. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Because it's like, you have to have the gore and the, like, the carnivores losing control, because that's such a huge element of the series. And it's like, okay, how do we, like, rectify this with everything else? And it doesn't really have a good answer, except for trying to, like, meet those carnivores halfway and doing horrible things.
Yeah. I mean, like it didn't land as hard as it did in the first season.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. You remember? I think it was like 2 weeks ago where I was like, I think I can't do season 3. Well, now I have to do season 3 because where the
Now
fuck does
we
this
have
go?
to do season 3.
I need to know where this goes.
Okay, let's go. I'm on board. Let's do this. I
So that
am
is our
on
next
board.
season.
I haven't
That's our
watched
next.
season 3. I know like 2 or 3 specific things. I know a spoiler regarding Legoshi, which probably gives away what it is to anyone who knows. I think I've heard what the villain is, and I've seen the opening, and it gave me basically nothing to go off of outside of like they're in a city. That's it. All I know is maybe Legoshi is moving to an apartment or something. That's all I got, you know?
He did say that he was leaving school at the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Will Lewis even be present? I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's feel this out, I guess.
Yeah, so
I
honestly,
yeah.
I'm kind of interested in seeing where it goes, but like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not like super hopeful.
Heck yeah, let's do this.
Like I hope that it's a bit more coherent than the second season,
It's
but like
probably, yeah. From what I've heard, people didn't really like the ending, so I'm expecting it to kind of fall apart more. But yeah, what? It'll be interesting.
it'll be interesting because like at first I was like I need like a break from Beastars. But once I finished season 2 and like I sat on it for a while, I was like, I just kind of want to know what happens.
Yeah,
Because
it's
like
got you hooked.
it ends on such a nothing note.
Yeah, this is the thing. Honestly, realistically speaking, I feel like this is kind of good media because it's like you look at it and it's like, well, I'm interested in this, and where's this going? And it just keeps you going.
But yeah, it is good media. It's just like obviously season 2 just didn't hit as hard as
Oh yeah,
season 1.
absolutely. Like
Like whereas
season one
I'd
for
give
me is
season
like a
1
10
like
out of 10. Season 2 is like an 8.
yeah, I would give like season 1 for me a 9 because like just I'm a
Yeah,
grumpy motherfucker.
that's
But
fair.
season 2 really didn't hit us hard. Like I gave maybe like a 6 or 7.
I'm
It's like some of the episodes were
curious.
pretty weak.
If I made you watch Mob Psycho 100, would that be a 10?
I don't know. I'd have to see it.
I feel like that might, like, hey, maybe that'd be a 10. That feels like it's getting close. That's pretty up there.
But you give me something like High School's a 10, and I'll be like, that's a 10.
Yeah.
And you'd
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
why? Is
I
it because
want to find a
boobies?
10
Yes.
for you that's not like a meme show, right?
Well, yeah, obviously.
So, yeah, do we have anything else to really say about this?
About season 2 in general, I hope season 3 is a little better and more coherent.
Yeah.
Not enough Haru.
None of
Hashtag
Haru.
where's my Haru?
Where's my
And
Haru? Dude, where's my Haru?
Dude, where's my Haru? And I can't wait to see if like Lewis has a dope prosthetic leg in the next season.
Lewis may or may not have a dope prosthetic leg. If he does, I hope it turns into a gun.
Yes.
Lewis gun is such a good meme. I love it.
Except he didn't fucking bring his meme to the fight.
He did bring it to the fight. But yeah, see you guys around.
Arrivederci.
Later.